All right, folks, week 3 of the NFL is here, and we're going to jump right into some matchups dealing with the undrafted players to watch out for in these particular matchups that I had put out. Very important that you guys follow. Still going to learn the game and see who is out there. And at the same time, you may be surprised to find out that some of your best players or your favorite players are undrafted talents. So here we go. Week 3. Let's get started. All right. The first matchup that we guys want to get into is the New York Giants and the San Francisco 49ers. And the New York Giants have a solid undrafted player on their roster named Matt Breida. Now, Matt Breida will be featured in this game more due to Saquon Barkley's injury, who's projected to be out for the next 3 weeks. So Breida will be the starting running back for the New York Giants. Now, just in case if you guys are not familiar with him, he spent 3 years with the San Francisco 49ers when he was an undrafted talent in 2017. While he was a member of the San Francisco 49ers, he amassed 2,463 scrimmage yards and 10 scrimmage touchdowns in the 3 seasons he was with San Francisco. When he left San Francisco, he did bounce around to the Bills and the Dolphins, and then he landed with the New York Giants. And since we're being with the New York Giants, I will tell you this: as far as yards from scrimmage, he only added 52. Yes, 52 yards from scrimmage since leaving the San Francisco 49ers. So you know this brother's backed up. Now, you know for a fact that he's going to look this Thursday night as a revenge game, so to speak, against the team that gave him his first start in the NFL. For his career, he had 14 touchdowns. You know for a fact he's going to increase those yards. The Giants are going to use him heavily and mightily in this game, going up against his older team. And with this older team, the San Francisco 49ers, trust me, they're not no slouch. And I believe that's going to be the representative for the Super Bowl for the NFC. And these guys are loaded, especially in that back end, where their secondary is really tight, especially with their undrafted talents like Ward and Gibson and also George Oven. These guys are going to be firing off the ball back there without no doubt. I know for a fact that these 49ers is ready to go to work. Now, speaking of the Indianapolis Colts, let's jump and talk about their matchup this week. They come to the big crab cake, as Chris Berman would say from ESPN, coming to M&T Bank Stadium to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens, here we go. Yep, if you're familiar with that song, yes, it's an old school song, Double Dutch Bus. But the Ravens have a bus of their own. They call him Bus, the Gus. Yes, talking about their running back who is legit. Talking about Gus Edwards. Gus Edwards for the Baltimore Ravens. He is a solid running back. Unfortunately, with KJ Dobson being out for the rest of the year, it created opportunity for Gus to get out there to show what he can do, which everyone is pretty much familiar of what Edwards can do out there on the field. What he did last week in week 2, he led the team in rushing yards with 62 and had his first rushing touchdown of the season against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Indianapolis Colts was the team that he had his first touchdown on, and that was back in November 8th, 2020. So looking for him to really carry that load for the Baltimore Ravens, and if he does well, that means Lamar Jackson will not have to worry about using his legs as much. I'm really happy and love the fact that Lamar is being more calculated with his running on the field and also protecting the ball. So he definitely showed a lot of maturity in his game and development in his game. I know it's still early in the season, but I'm looking forward to seeing how Lamar is going to really carry everything out for the Ravens. But he definitely will need Gus Edwards to do his part in the backfield, so Lamar won't feel as though that he has to run the ball, because Lamar has to get the ball out there to these talented pass catchers that he has on his team. And it's going to be really important, especially this week, because he's about to go up against a fiery secondary Indianapolis Colts. And the Indianapolis Colts going to be his best so far of the season, best back-end defense that he has to deal with, where he's going to go up against the likes of Kenny Moore, and then also Dallas Flowers, Tony Brown, who's a hard hitter, and then also Trevor Dunbrow. These guys, undrafted players from the Indianapolis Colts. These guys know how to get at it. This is going to be the Ravens' first test, going up against a legit secondary across the board before they get deeper into this season. So definitely watch out for the Colts and the Ravens, led by Gus the Bus, going up against this good Indianapolis secondary. Now, another game to watch out for, the Tennessee Titans and the Cleveland Browns. Tennessee Titans, they have their wide receiver Nick Westbrook-Akina, who had his first touchdown in the season last week. Looking forward what he's going to do for the rest of the season. Like I said, he is a legitimate third down threat that every team needs to watch out for in any situation. Third and long, third and short, it doesn't matter. Westbrook-Akina, if targeted correctly, he's going to make that catch. He's definitely a threat in those situations. Another game to watch out for is the Detroit Lions going against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the Detroit Lions, they have this defensive back. His name is Jerry Jacobs. He had a career high 8 tackles last week in week 2 when he went up against the Seattle Seahawks. This young man is very, very calculated, very strong. Watch out for Jerry Jacobs in this matchup. They're definitely going to need him in this game to make sure they can try to slow down Atlanta, who surprisingly has some threats in the receiving game. So definitely watch out for what he's going to do on the field for the Detroit Lions. Another matchup to watch out for the undrafted players. Now, the New Orleans Saints, they have explosive players, undrafted players on that roster, starting with Rashid Shaheed. He is electric. Definitely watch out for him. And we all know old school Tatum Hill. Tatum Hill, he had rushed for 75 yards last week against the Carolina Panthers. When this young man gets rolling, yes, I know he's on the depth chart as a quarterback, as tight end. I like to call him all-purpose. He's all-purpose. There's nothing that Taysom Hill cannot do. So I'm looking forward to seeing him explode. And also, who came on the scene last week was Tony Jones, running back, who had his first 2 career rushing touchdowns last week. The first time he had 2 touchdowns in the game. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to do carrying that rock for the New Orleans Saints. He's definitely going to show that he has a lot of potential to help take this team to the next level. All right, so that's another game to watch out for. The Packers going up against the Saints. Now, this matchup here is going to be really fun. This is my big check game, one of my big check games. You know that the Ravens and Colts is a big check game, and we know that the 49ers and Giants, that's a big check game amongst undrafted players. This game is going to be a big check game. Want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. I'm glad you asked. When we look at the Denver Broncos, and I'm going to call it out now, that Jamel McLaurin, this young man, undrafted rookie from Youngstown State, before the season started, I said he's going to make this team, hands down. Now, he is going to really give an opportunity that with him being on the field, and we saw him acclimated last week when he actually had his first rushing touchdown of his career, young career, that I really see blossoming. If this young man, Sean Payton, used him the way I'm thinking he's going to use him, especially the way how he used him last week against the Commanders, I would not be surprised. I'm going to say it now. Do not be surprised if you hear his name mentioned as a Rookie of the Year candidate. This man exploded during the preseason. I see it carrying over to the regular season. The confidence is there, it's high. Sean Payton's going to use this young man a lot because he can catch from the backfield, and he is a very, very good runner that know how to run between the tackles, and most importantly, he have that breakaway speed. So definitely watch out for this young rookie quarterback. And then last week, Brandon Johnson, he had a career high of 66 receiving yards and 2 receptions for touchdowns in week 2 against the Commanders, and also this amazing catch that set the Broncos up to at least get to an overtime if they got that 2-point conversion. This play right here put them in that conversation when Russell Wilson threw this Hail Mary and he was able to catch it in the back end amongst everyone that was back there. That was a great, great play. He definitely did his part there. Definitely going to watch out what he's going to do this week with the Miami Dolphins. Now, also what makes this a big check game is the Miami Dolphins is loaded as well on the offense side of the ball when it comes down to undrafted players. And they are led by Raheem Mostert, their starting running back. He led the team with 121 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns last week against the New England Patriots. This is his 3rd career game with 115 plus yards and 2 touchdowns in a single game. The 3rd time he's done this. Now he looks for his 5th game in a row with at least 50 plus scrimmage yards. He also tied for the NFL lead with 3 rushing touchdowns so far this season, and he is the only AFC running back with a rushing touchdown in each of the first 2 games of the season. So he's really racking up these numbers when it comes down to running backs collectively in the NFL and also in the AFC. He also had his running partner back there with Ahmad. He did a great job against the Patriots, and also with the wide receiver Rivercraft. He's Craycraft. He's doing himself a great service for the Miami Dolphins as well. So watch out for this 3-headed horseman with the Miami Dolphins going against the Denver Broncos. This will be an explosive game of undrafted talents on the offensive side of the ball. You will sit back, buckle up. You're going to see some excitement in this game. That's why this game get my big check for this game. All right, here we go. Now let's move into some other good stuff. The Los Angeles Chargers. We all know about their main running back, Austin Ekeler, who's pretty much not just the best undrafted running back in the league, but pretty much one of the better running backs complete across the board. Definitely gonna watch out for Austin Ekeler, what he's gonna do. Last week, matter of fact, the last meeting that he had against the Minnesota Vikings, he did have a touchdown. He had 4 rushing touchdowns in the past 3 road games, including the playoffs. He also had 393 catches in 90 career games and will become the 4th fastest running back ever to reach 400 catches. Like I said, across the board, not just one of the best undrafted players in the league, but also one of the best overall running backs throughout the entire league. If he keep this up, I definitely see a gold jacket in his future. Now, with the Carolina Panthers and the Seattle Seahawks, this is going to be a good game to watch out for. Not a big check just yet, but it will be as soon as we see more players from the Seahawks really step up that's undrafted. But on this side of the ball for the Carolina Panthers, they have veteran wide receiver Adam Thielen, who made his name synonymous with the Minnesota Vikings and across the league for his time while he was there. Now with the Carolina Panthers, he had led the team last week with 7 receptions for 54 yards and had his first career touchdown as a Panther last week. He has 20 receptions for 200 yards and 3 receiving touchdowns in his past 3 matchups against the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's looking for his 3rd game in a row versus the same team, the Seahawks, with at least a touchdown pass, and 4th in a row against the Seahawks for having at least 5 catches for 50+ yards. So definitely watch out for that. And his teammate on the defense side of the ball, which the Panthers going to need a lot of, linebacker Frankie Lovo, who had 9 tackles, 3 of those were for losses, and 2 sacks in week 2 in last week's matchup when he went up against the Saints. This marked his 2nd career 2-sack game of what he did in week 2. Now he's looking for his 3rd game in a row with a sack. He has 12 tackles for loss in the past 7 games, that totaling in the last 7 games he's played. He also had 2 tackles for losses, a sack, and a pass defense the last time he played against the Seattle Seahawks. So he definitely had a solid track record against this team. Definitely going to watch to see what he's going to do against the Seattle Seahawks, and they're going to need him in a very, very big way against this squad here. Our final matchup with the undrafted players to watch out for comes from the Philadelphia Eagles as they journey down to Tampa Bay. This pretty much is going to be one-sided with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their main undrafted player to watch out for, and really kudos to Shaq Barrett of how he dedicated this interception to his daughter, this win to his daughter, who we had lost, unfortunately. Very sad situation. I'm a father of 4. I can't even imagine what it is to lose a child, and for him to lose his daughter's life, that is definitely hard. And for him to come out and play with a heavy heart and have a solid game, that just says a lot of how much passionate he loved the game, and also how much he's using his daughter to be an inspiration to him. So my heart goes out there to you, Mr. Shaq Barrett. Had a solid game last week, and he also had his first career sack of the season and his first pick 6 in week 2 in this tip-up one-handed catch. That was fantastic. That was great. Good reflex, good reaction, and he also had a sack and 2 tackles for loss in his last meeting against the Philadelphia Eagles. So folks, that's it as far as the matchups dealing with the undrafted players for week 3. Make sure you guys tune in next week so you can find out who did what, so that you guys can actually look forward to what's going to happen in week 4. Everyone stay locked in. Let's get to it. All right.